Tea?
This tea, but you got a couple of orders. You got a couple orders, huh? Say somebody. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. Last week we did the first half of Bab al-Sadaq, the Dowry. And tonight we're going to finish the second half, which is not that long. Inshallah. طيب. And then we'll get to the issue that I was wrong about last week. That's the last line, inshallah, that I was wrong about. No, I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I misunderstood the sentence, which is a benefit of reading the other books. This is not the most summarized book, but it's on the level 1. So it could be 4 or 5 books on the same level, but the authors are different people. They don't write exactly the same. So when you read the other book and you see the other wording, sometimes it just pop out and makes sense. Okay, that's the only wording written like that. I understood it the way it's written, but nobody else spoke about it like that. And if you get into it, that's the benefit of different reading from different authors. Because the authors, rahimahumullah, they are human. Everybody doesn't speak the same way, even though generally the vocabulary is the same. Somebody might put something in a way that is easier to understand. So alhamdulillah. Tayyib. Last week, they said it was sunnah. 2 things was sunnah when it came to the dowry. The first thing we spoke about last week, he said 2 things are sunnah when it comes to the dowry, or the mahar, or the wedding gift, which is what? To mention it when? At the contract. To mention what it is the dowry is at the contract. And the second thing? Make it light. That it's not too difficult of a whatever it is, gift. That it meaning it's not too expensive. But he said yusannu. And if it's sunnah, that means it's what? It's recommended to do that, which means the woman doesn't have to make it light. Right? She doesn't have to. Right? And at the same time, if the dowry is not mentioned at the aqd, at the nikah itself, when everybody is watching, if the dowry is not mentioned there, then what happens to the nikah? Is it still valid? It's still valid. Why? Because both of those things are sunnah. Sunnah here meaning recommended, translated. But what does it mean if it's sunnah?
That you're rewarded if you do it, and you're not punished if you don't.
Right. It's a reward in doing it. It's no punishment in not leaving it off. So in this case, it's better to do it. But if it's not done, it's no sin, it's no harm. It's not going to affect the contract. Then quickly, everything, he said, everything that's permissible to do 2 things can be a dowry. If it's permissible to do what? If it's permissible to buy it and sell it, or if you can buy it and sell it, you can give it as a dowry. If it's Islamically permissible to buy and sell it, you can give it. It can be given as a dowry. That's one. Or what was the second one? Rent. Yeah, rent. Buying is one thing. Renting is another thing. If it's permissible to rent it, then it's permissible to give it as a dowry. Tayyib. What happens if they get married and they never agreed and never spoke about a dowry? Your phone? I got it. Man, struggle. Oh, I got to open it here.
I don't want to see that.
That's cool. Shit.
You talking about as far as the value goes?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
You said what happened?
Threw me off.
You said what happens if
Oh,
they get married?
if they never spoke about a dowry or nothing.
As far as the value goes, she gets what?
She's still owed a dowry, even if they never discussed it. That's on his neck. It's a debt at that point. All right. Tayyip. But what is she owed?
Level that she's on. Which general amongst the women?
For her level. Tayyip. That's if one, they didn't speak about it, or the other case was, what if he gave her something that was haram? Right? He gave her, let's just say, for example, they knew Muslims, they don't know. They used to celebrating. He gives a bottle of champagne for a dowry. They don't know. It's possible, right? They don't know. He gives a bottle of champagne for a dowry. That dowry is invalid. It doesn't count. On top of that, would they be sinful?
Would they drunk it?
Lot. They ain't drink it. They didn't drink it.
It was nothing.
Ignorant. You talking about the new Muslim? Right. The new Muslim. Somebody just took shahada. They don't know, right?
It's nothing.
What?
Let's just say he a new Muslim. He got the bottle in his house already. Like it's valuable.
Right.
He have an expensive.
He already had stuff in his house.
And he gave it to her. He had it before he's Muslim. He gave it to her by accident. She don't drink it. She don't sell it. Yeah, just
Gee. No, that's the question. Is it sinful? Is it a sin on him for doing that?
How could it be?
Why not?
It was.
He didn't know. Gee. Al-Urdhu bil-Jahl. That might apply. Al-Urdhu bil-Jahl, which wouldn't apply for everybody. But in that case, the excuse due to ignorance could be applied to a new Muslim, maybe, but not a person who's been Muslim for some, right? So the excuse of ignorance when a person does something, whether it be in a sin, and even if it's other things, the excuse could be given to a person based on the situation. Everybody's not going to get that excuse, but a new Muslim may get that excuse, even though it's still not going to be valid. He still owes her a dowry. All that still applies. That was just would it be a sin? Tayyib. So if he gave her something that's haram, Islamically, right, then the dowry is not valid. And what does he have to do? He still owes it, but what does he give her? He gives the norm. It goes back to what level she is in society, that class, and what they usually get as a dowry. We used the example last week of like 2 stacks, right? That's just an example. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I was example. That's an example. Is that good? 2 grand is good? Or sisters might not think that's good enough. Hey, man. Hey, listen, you might have to raise it up. It's just an example. It's a negotiation process, right? I'm just saying, you might not think that's enough. You might raise it up. That was just an example. I ain't trying to shortchange nobody. I'm just saying. Let's use 5 from here on out. We're going to use 5 from here on out. Tayyip. He said, well, you said tajiluhu. It's permissible to delay it, right? Tayyip. When they delay it, how long? What's the time frame it can be delayed?
It depends on the agreement amongst the man and the woman.
Tayyip.
So they divorce you.
It depends on how long. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. Depends on the agreement.
Tayyip, what if they don't set a time?
Less than 5 years.
Less than 5 years?
Divorce,
Huh?
that's what you said. Until they get.
I said that?
I think
All right.
No, he said until the divorce. So let's just say, for instance, that's where the whole issue came to talk about, because if he never gave it to her. They agreed on whatever, everything was good. He never gave her anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now they get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they're gonna get a pull out or, you know what I mean, it's a lot. Then now we gotta figure out what's going on. But it's owed to her up until the divorce. Now if the marriage is over, then that's a question. But
you mentioned something. You did mention.
You was on the path, I don't know, but then
that's what we're talking about.
you veered off.
Up until the divorce, like.
So what does that mean, up until the divorce? Lifeline.
It's
Lifeline.
neck until the divorce.
I will I would say up to that.
It depends.
Hold up. What's the question?
The question
You
is
said
how
how
long?
Can-
They didn't say no. They didn't say. He didn't say I'll give you $5,000 in a month.
Right.
I'll give it to you in 6 months. She wanted 5,000 for a dowry. They agreed. He said, but I'm gonna give it to you. She says, okay, no time. When does it become? That's it. It's due.
When does it become?
It's due now.
After intimacy.
At divorce. At divorce. Right? At the time of their splitting, now it's due. In 6 months, if they would have agreed on 6 months, it's due in 6 months.
Right.
If they would have agreed on a month, it was due in a month. They agreed on 2 months, 2 months. They didn't agree on a specific time. They said a year, 2 years, all that's fine. That's what they agree on. They just left it open. Right? 10 years could have went by. It's still on them. Right? But as he said, upon the divorce, this is when now is due. It's due at that point. Because after that, he said, Tamlikuhu bi'aqd, and that if it's not, for example, if it's something like a building or something like that, he gives her, right? He got a couple buildings he renting out. He gives her one of the buildings. That's hers. That's your dowry. She accepts that. Cool, right? When does she start collecting the money for that? Huh?
She owed the whole money from the 10 years they was married?
No, they get married. He gives her a building. There's already people in it. The whole thing is rented out, right? When does the rent that's coming in, when does she start benefiting from that? Right away. What's right away mean? As soon as he give it to her, it's hers?
After divorce?
As soon as marriage. He gives it to her.
Consummation?
As soon as she leaves.
Wait, we having 2 different conversations.
No, this is when is it hers? Meaning she starts, the money coming in is hers. The money coming in is hers. If the roof fall down, she got to fix it. That's all her responsibility. From when?
Once the contract is
From the contract. Once the act is done, right? It's hers. Clear? At the act, not when they consummate. They might not consummate for a week later. So that means that week's worth of money is not hers. And any problems that happen in the building that week is not her problem. Clear? It's hers, not that she got to get the building. What was you going to say? I'm sorry, you had a question?
No, just say, but divorce, whatever. You say you gotta, once y'all get divorced, the money is due, right?
Yes.
Whatever it is due. What if they forgot? Is it like a center on them for that?
If who forgot?
Both parties.
Is it the sin is not going to be connected to forgetting. That's not a sin to forget. But just because you forgot doesn't mean the debt falls off. Which the debt eventually, if it was $5,000, and we're gonna get to that today. Eventually, if it had to be taken and the man died, where would they take it from? Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, but yeah, it's inheritance. Whatever he leaves behind. Everybody has what they call terika. You gotta, let's just say a person died and they had $100,000 in their bank, in their account. All right, they got Muslim families, inheritance now. There are people in your family that money is owed to. That's theirs by the Quran. The verse in Quran, the verses in the Quran, ayat al-irth. The verse is about inheritance. Also, from that 100,000 is that we pay for our own janazah. Everybody clear? That means we buy our own. The money for the janazah is supposed to come out to what you left. That's supposed to come from there first. All of that stuff that goes before, until what's left, okay, now it has to be dispersed amongst the people who are to inherit. But that's going to come up. Now, which is the end of the chapter, which is when is the mahar mithl? When is the dowry or the mahar due based on, these are different situations, right? Based on, as they say, her class. These are different situations where what's supposed to happen? What is she supposed to get? Well, it goes back to, what do we call, her level in that society, right? Her level. And we just using 5,000 tonight. Last week was 2,000. We're going to bump it up to 5. I don't want to cause some problems. Tell you. He says, وَيَجِبُ مَهْرُ مِثْلُ. It says here, لِمَنْ وُطِئَتْ بِشُبْهَةٍ. The woman who a man has intercourse with her by mistake. He didn't want to have intercourse with her. He thought it was his wife. He laid down in the bed with the wrong person. Y'all crazy. Y'all looking at Is that possible? Huh? What you mean? She got a twin sister.
In the same house.
In the same house.
In the same bed. Okay.
If that happens, what happens? Is it possible her sister come to spend the night?
And not do it.
It's possible. I'm just saying, it's not. See, when they bring these issues, it's not. It's not really about the situation. It's about if that happens. I'm not saying I would do it. That's going to be difficult to where we live at. No. If somebody came to you, and that was the case, and that's the example they give. It says he thought that was his wife, even if it wasn't her twin. Whatever the case may be, it was dark. They was out somewhere. Whatever the case may be, right? Maybe her husband was there too. Right. It ain't like it could have been her husband there, and there's more than one person there. There's numerous couples. Bottom line, they say what? A man, the dowry is what? The dowry is an obligation at the marriage. But he said now, at this point, he had sex with somebody who is not his wife. What is she owed? The woman. Yes. Yeah. No, she's owed the dowry. She's owed what's normal to the people. Yeah. Yes. We're not talking about the oct.
So how is she owed something?
They had an oct, right? The man gets married. He goes to be with his wife. It's the wrong woman.
Okay.
You understand? We're not talking about zina, y'all. The man gets married. Cool. It's a bunch of couples, whatever they're doing. Maybe it's somebody's house, the walima, and maybe he makes an accident. The woman is not just left like that. She's not just left like that.
So she doesn't commit zina?
La. It's not considered zina.
So he has sex with a twin, and the twin doesn't mention I'm not such and such.
Maybe the twin thought it was her husband. Her husband's there also. No. The lights could have been off. The lights is off. The lights off. Hey, you never know. You know, the good thing is this. Issues like this come up in books hundreds of years old. This ain't a new book. This book is old. Hundreds of years old, they talking about this. That a man accidentally has intercourse with the wrong woman. We looking like it's crazy, but they don't mention stuff it's rare that stuff is mentioned that just never happens. You understand what I'm saying? It's mentioned because it's mumkin, possible, right? Or it did happen already, right? You with me? Now, just because we might look at it like that, like they say, that's you reaching. In our society, it might be reaching, but you don't know how other people live in other countries. You know, they set up in their houses with their bedding and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's number one. That it was a shubha. So what does she get? All of these situations, they get something of her level. So what we're saying is the 5,000. Or zina kuhran. She's forced into zina, which is rape. He rapes her. Man rapes a woman. He still owes her. We talking about a Muslim rule. Let's talk about the Muslim rule, right? The man's found out he raped. They bring him to court. There's judges. Okay, the penalty is going to be the penalty, and that money is owed. Clear? That money is still owed. And they say zina kuhran, that she's forced into zina. She wasn't trying to have zina, but he raped her. And the fact that he did that, the penalty for that is one thing, and the mahr, the dowry, right, is another thing. That he would still owe her. La arsh bakara ma'ahu. And it says la arshu bakaratin. What he owes her, the 5,000 doesn't include, not including, the arsh bakara is Basically, if she's a virgin, the man would pay more as a dowry. So he said if it was 5,000, she'd get the 5,000. You can't come and say, well, you got to give her 7 or 8 or 9 because she was a virgin. Not in this case. And I think that Arshbakar is going to come back up again. طيب. He says, وَلَهَا مَنُ نَفْسِهَا حَتَّى تَقْبِضْ مَهْرًا حَالًا. They agree on the 5,000. She says the 5,000 is the dowry at the aqd. That means it's due the day of the nikah, right? Everybody come is due then. Clear? He agrees. Cool. I'm gonna have the 5,000 tomorrow, Sunday. Sunday comes, the aqd, everybody's there. The dowry is due, right? He doesn't have the dowry. He doesn't have the 5. They go home. He's ready to consummate the marriage. She says, what? She says, la.
Wait, are they married?
They married. They go home. Because remember, they can get married. They can get married if the dowry is not there, right?
All right. I'm just asking a question. It's going to sound silly, but what I'm saying is that if we come to come to the marriage, right? And I don't got the money. Isn't that agreed right there? She's gonna say, "Well, I'll delay it then." Like, because how do you get home? How you gonna get married right now? She's like, "No, I don't want money now."
That's not a condition for the marriage.
But how would y'all get home?
What you mean? Get home?
You never get in the car. Woman and be like, "Yo, you being borrowed that stuff? You supposed to buy her?" She mad. How you gonna get home? You know what I'm saying? It's like how do you?
What you mean get home?
Talking about that right at the spot.
Yeah, but they might continue to talk about it. See, they get in the car, they go home, they continue to talk about it. She's happy, they all happy, da, 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 but in the back of her mind, she's still thinking about that $5,000. Right. They get home, he's thinking, dude, he got everything set up. Now she says, what? It says, now this is the question, y'all. Is she allowed to do that? That's the question.
And there's a hadith on that?
Sheikh, I'm gonna ask you. Can you ask me a question? Is she allowed to do that? Yeah. Why?
Because that's her wedding gift.
And
The person is selling to the boy do not consummate the marriage until he asks me the dowry.
What does it signify? What is the dowry for? Because I think we did that last week. Huh? To make each other permissible, and what else? When?
When you call her.
Nah, the dowry, y'all. Only the dowry. The dowry is only spoken when you marry a woman. You get married. Do y'all speak about the dowry like for the rest of y'all marriage? No, I'm saying assuming everything went smooth, right? Assuming everything went smooth, the dowry never comes back up, right? Why? What is the dowry connected to? The first night only. This is the first night. You didn't give her wedding gift for the first night, so now she has right? Everybody understand? The dowry is connected to the first night, and he didn't come with that because they agreed it was supposed to be done halal. So at that point, he's in the wrong. She's not in the wrong. He's in the wrong at this point. Clear? It's different. It's a different situation if they agreed to delay it. We ain't talking about they agreed to delay it. They agreed that it was going to be what? At the aqd. Now he come and they ain't have the aqd, right? He wasn't have it at the aqd. Now they can go, because remember, it don't affect the contract. Which one?
That's a misconception because that's not how it's presented. Like, even when you say now, like, if somebody say, let's say I'm a man, I am a man, I'm saying, let's say I say, well, dowry supposed to be light. The perception is he cheap or he don't got no money.
Say that again, the dowry what?
If the
dowry supposed to be light?
Right? The perception now is, if I say that, I had to sit down like that shit. The mahar should be light. Right? Shit. Let's say if I say that.
It should be.
The perception of me at that point would be either he broke or he cheap. You know what I'm trying to say? If you say it's supposed to be light, like make a light on me.
Uh-huh.
The perception is
no. Yeah.
Broke or he cheap.
You saying me? Oh, the sisters need the mic.
See, give him a mic.
Get the mic. What I'm saying is, she can make it light. Not make the dowry light on me.
Well, I'm saying the misconception of it is that if you're saying the mahar is actually just for the first night.
Yes.
And which is why it's recommended to be light.
Yes.
That's not what the perception is.
What you mean that's not what the perception? That's not what people understand?
That's not what
I don't know what, listen. What the people understand is one thing. That's one thing. All right? That's one thing. Because we do got a lot of misunderstandings. What we understand is one thing, and what's correct could be possibly something else. Or what we understand could be correct. So the mahar, the dowry, is connected to access to the woman for the first night. After that, you don't keep paying the dowry every night for the next 10 years. What do you do after that? Maintenance. Maintenance is for the rest of the marriage. The dowry is connected to the first night. So now he said he was going to have it at the Act, 5,000. It comes to the Act, he doesn't have it. That means he didn't what? He didn't meet the condition for the first night. So can she say, wait a minute, hold? In that case, yes. Clear? طيب. It says, لا إذا حل قبل التسليم. Not though, she doesn't have the right. If it was delayed, if she offers herself, right, before it was paid, she can't go back after that and say, well, no, I'm not going to be intimate with you. Clear? After she done already agreed and gave herself to her husband, she can't go back after that. Clear? But initially, it's supposed to be there. He didn't have it at the time. Initially, yes. At that point, she can. Clear? Questions?
So this is a little detail, but I just want to get a good understanding. So if she just say she teases him, and I'm trying to be moderate with it, or whatever.
I don't know.
But say if she teases him, meaning like leaves him on, she can't just say no. Like after you get what I'm saying? Like say she leaves him on, whatever the case is, and then she be like, no, we chilling till you get the money. She can't do nothing like that, right? Well, I'm saying she has to make it clear, like yeah, I ain't trying to get to
This all either A. She has the option, right? It's full crazy, man. She either has the option to give herself to her husband, but in this case, she also has the option to say no. Entice and all of that, you got A or B. Either you're gonna be with him now or you're not. Should she do all of that? That's up for debate. Doing all that, what are you trying to do? But point is, either she doesn't have to, like, if he doesn't have the 5,000, he was supposed to have it at the Act, he doesn't have it, right? It doesn't mean she can't be intimate with him. She can. But the question is, can she say, wait a minute, I'm not going to be intimate with you because you didn't meet our agreement? She can do that. And because that agreement does not affect the actual contract being valid, they are married. I'm sorry, sit down.
So if she does, okay, they consummate the marriage with the understanding that he's going to give her the $5,000, and then moving down the line, he keeps saying, okay, I got it, but never give it. Can she then hold off or no?
When? Were they already intimate?
Yes.
No. Remember, y'all, this is assuming the agreement was that the $5,000 was due at the Act. Okay? Because if they delay it, that's a different situation.
So even if he delays it, I mean that changes the whole situation, right?
No, if they agreed to delay it 6 months.
But what if he still doesn't meet that agreement? Instead of 6
All right,
months?
Jade. Even after 6 months, he doesn't meet the agreement. Even with that, she already gave herself to him. Khalas. Point being, he still owes her. It's still a debt, regardless. It's not going to drop off. Now that could push into another problem. Wait, sit down. I'm sorry.
If say they get a divorce and he never gave her the dowry, is she still owed the dowry?
No doubt. It never drops off. I'm sorry, not never, but we're gonna get to when it drops off.
If they delay the dowry, if they agree to delay the dowry, can she still refuse to have sex with him?
If they agree to delay it, no, not in that case, because she's pleased. She's okay with not having the dowry right now. You get the idea? She's okay with him not giving her dowry tonight. So how's she going to be okay with him not giving her a dowry and at the same time say, I'm not going to be intimate with you? You understand what I'm saying? If she's not okay with it, then she wants her dowry now. If which means that in that case she can prevent and refuse to have intimacy be intimate with him. But after that, right? After that, then that means she's okay with it. And if she's okay with it, she can't do both at the same time.
Can she ask for a divorce if that's not given
A
to
khula.
her? A khula, yes.
We're gonna get to that in the bab of khula. Inshallah. That's gonna come in the bab of khula. What allows a woman to ask for khula is coming in the khula. We're gonna get to that.
If they agree to delay the dowry for 2 months,
Mhm.
and then 2 months come,
Right.
and he hasn't paid the dowry,
Right.
can she then say, no, you can't?
Nah, she can't go back after she gave herself.
So are you saying that if she agrees to marry the guy and the dowry is 5,000, whatever, and they agree to delay the dowry?
Nah. That's what you were saying?
I'm saying she agrees to delay the dowry.
Mhm.
She's okay with delaying the dowry. As long as she doesn't move in the house with him or go to him.
No, I'm saying. Are you bringing another situation?
Yeah,
No, I'm asking.
Oh, you're
As long as she
asking.
doesn't-
Okay.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't go in the house with him,
Uh-huh.
she cannot be intimate with him until he pays that money.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody clear?
People know that.
No,
Yeah.
Women know
wait,
that.
I'm confused.
So
So say
listen,
again?
What? No what? No what?
if she agrees to marry the guy,
Mhm.
and the dowry is like $5,000,
Mhm.
he said, "All right, I'll give it to you in a couple months."
Mhm.
She was like, "All right, cool." She doesn't have to move in with him until that dowry's paid.
Are they ever intimate in that?
No, they're not intimate. She can't, like, for example, if she says, "I'm not moving in," that means she.
Oh, that's a previous conversation.
Yes.
That's a previous conversation, right?
What do you mean by previous conversation?
She says, I'm not moving in with you until I get the dowry.
No, but she doesn't know that that's her right, though. Meaning, if they agree for $5,000 dowry, right? He's like, "Give it to you next month." She can be like, "Okay, I'm not going to move in with you, and I'm not going to be intimate with you until that money is paid."
Jade. So that's a shart in
Yeah, but that's
she puts a shart in the act.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a shart in the eye. That's part of what it is.
But her right is what he's saying.
So,
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of her right. Most women don't know that, though. That doesn't have to be stipulated.
So what would be the point of getting married if that's the case?
What you mean?
Why would you get married? You're not moving with me. You're not gonna be.
That's a different situation.
No.
We're not talking about that.
What he's saying is that it's based on the dowry.
Excuse me. We can't hear you guys up there.
Oh, he gotta get the mic. See, he gotta come over here and use the mic. So you can't do all that from the side. You can't do all that from the side. The sisters can't hear. Well, you gotta come over here. We got a whole mic. Cause you talk.
They ain't using no mic.
So this is what he just said, as far as okay, the brother, he doesn't give the dowry at a specific time when it's specified, and she doesn't move in with him.
Mm-hmm.
Does that do say him not giving the dowry? It makes it easier for her to get out, correct? Like if she can ask for a cola, okay, say, all right, I'm gonna give it to you in 5 months.
Mm.
In between those 5 months, if she just decide not to want to marry the brother and he didn't give the dowry, it makes it easier now.
We're gonna
For her to ask for a cola.
We're gonna get to that.
You
Inshallah.
want me to get on the mic?
Yeah, if you gonna say something, you gotta get on the mic. Shit. You can't do all that from the side. You gotta say it loud.
Excuse me. Can you repeat
Yeah, he can repeat it right now.
this, specifically the part where you said a lot of sisters don't know?
Yeah, that's what he can ready to do. Follow, Yahi. Follow, man. Go ahead.
All right, so here's the issue. If they agree to get married and the dowry is $5,000, right? He agrees to pay $5,000. She's like, all right, cool. He says, I'm not going to give you the $5,000 to next month or the month after. At that point in time, in the beginning of the marriage, she has the right to say, okay, well, I'm not going to move in with you and not be intimate with you, because technically she doesn't have to until that dowry is paid. Once she goes to him, at that point, she can't say, no, I'm going to fall back until you pay the money. But initially, she has the right to say, okay, well, I'm going to just wait till that dowry is paid. Once that dowry is paid, then they can proceed. Most women probably don't know that, okay, if you're going to delay the dowry, I'm going to delay myself then until that money is paid. That's her right.
Clear?
Fahmt?
Sisters?
Nah, but can she still get maintenance?
Don't run. Maintenance for, sorry, not like that. Not like that, sister, but I mean, what would she be getting maintenance for?
If he's delaying the dowry for 5 months, and she needs something that's from necessity, is she still owed that?
Is she still owed maintenance? Where you going, Shay? We'll deal with that later, inshallah. Once we finish, we deal with that at the end. Run off. He got to clean it up. We're going to clean it up at the end. Tell you, we're going to move on. We come back to that at the end. What you mean? We come back to that before we stop, inshallah. There's only a couple lines. Tell you. He says, when a'sara bihal, falaha fasq bihakim. Tell you, the man, he was taking care of her, right? But the word is bankrupt, but let's just say he loses his job, right? He's not making any money, even though he was doing everything he was supposed to. Now he comes to, as we say, he's in a rough spot, right? He's in a rough spot. فَلَهَا فَسْخُ بِحَاكِمٍ. In this case, is it permissible for her? Let me use the words we use. We say stuff like, can she get out the marriage? Can she get a divorce? Even though that's not what it is. The brother is now, he doesn't have any money to take care of her. And he previously did. All right? Can she get out? Because now what we say is she wants a divorce. That's how we say it. Right? And I'm asking the brothers now. If that was the case, you was taking care of her, right? You lose your job. Now it's rough. So she might take over. Right? She covering down on everything. Right? She gets tired of covering down. She wants out the marriage. Who would be mad? Huh? The man in general. A lot of men going like, yo, when I had it, I was doing it. Right? But in reality, that's not her problem. If we could say it like that. That's not her problem. That's your problem. So in that case, it says she can ask for the fasq nikah. We spoke about that before, right? Which of course is not in the hands of her and it's not in the hands of the man. That's a whole procedure with a whole board of people got to get involved, and because the fasq is going to annul the marriage contract in totality, whether the other person agrees or they don't agree. She doesn't have to do that. But I'm just saying, sometimes we look at stuff like, we say stuff like, she can't do that. Right? She can't do that. He can't do that. But we got to look at it, okay, Islamically, what is a person allowed to do and why? Her right is to be taken care of. The man doesn't have the money to take care of her. She taking care of him now. Right? Alhamdulillah. Right? But what if she gets tired of that and she says, you know what? I want to get a fasq nikah. Annulment. Does she have the right to do that? In that case, she has the right to do that. Clear? She doesn't have to, y'all. But if she wanted to go that way, it will be an option. The next 8. These are times when the dowry is obligatory completely. The whole 5,000 is obligatory, yes.
So you can marry a woman that makes more money.
Sure. No problem.
Beforehand, instead of, because you was never right. You was never taking care of her, right?
What you mean? If she makes more money than the man, it's no problem.
Right.
That doesn't remove the fact that his responsibility is what she owed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She still has rights. Because she makes more money doesn't mean the rights are removed. It's not like she makes 100 grand, he makes 50 grand. So since you make 100 grand, I don't have to take care of you. No, that's not the case. Clear? That's still her right. Those rights are released when a person releases them. If the woman decides to say, listen, I don't need you to take care, I don't need this. So it was basically she's waiving her right. That's her right. That's hers. She can do that. You can't tell a woman, well, I'm gonna marry you, but since you're making that and I'm making this, you're gonna have to pay for everything. And you're gonna stipulate what she can't pay for, what she's gonna pay for. Clear? If she decides to do that, then that's her choice.
Question.
Yes.
Would the woman have to disclose her income?
To who?
Her husband. For example, if it's child support, if it's I'm making close to 6 figures a year, do I have to disclose that? since it's my money.
Literally? Like literally? No, you don't literally have to. But I mean, if you want to be married like for a while and in a good, healthy marriage, that's probably going to be an issue at some point. Maybe. Cool. That's cool.
So what would you encourage the brothers or advise the brothers to consider that as like if she does make more than you, not to make that a burden upon her, like not to make her feel bad because she makes more money. Excuse me. Makes more money or don't disclose, the extra funds she has.
Say that again.
How would you advise a brother to handle the fact that she makes more money than you or she has more income?
Well, I'm sure they spoke about that before they got married, right? I'm assuming.
Right, but she doesn't disclose it.
But he knows she's making more money than him, right?
Right, but she doesn't disclose.
She doesn't
the
tell him
amount.
how much.
Right.
Oh, so he wants to know how much you're saying.
And let's say he makes 40 a year, she makes 90 a year.
Mm-hmm.
How would you advise a brother to
be comfortable with his wife making more than?
And not make that
Hey man, you gotta be comfortable in yourself. That's a whole. I mean, if he knows the woman is making more than him, just double, right? A man is a man. Either you're gonna marry him or you're not gonna marry him. Either you're gonna deal with it or you're not gonna deal with it. Are you saying that he's not comfortable with his wife making more than him? Is that the question?
Yes. But he still wants to marry her.
He still want to marry, but he don't want to like Allah. I don't know. That's probably maybe we should talk about that at the man lecture on the 16th. Brothers being comfortable. She make more money than you, and like.
But she said she didn't feel comfortable with that. So that's a different issue.
If she what?
If he married somebody, let's say that you assume like they work at Amazon or something. In reality, they're making a beam. You know what I'm saying? You can't be. You don't know. So it's how you gonna be comfortable so you don't know about it?
She's saying he already know. He already knows she's making more than him for sure. He just don't know exactly how much. That's not really like. That's not something that's really. We shouldn't make that a reason for like divorce and stuff, though. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of men are not going to be comfortable with that.
Yeah, but is that a reason? Let me ask y'all. Is that a reason to end the marriage? From a woman and a man. A man. All these brothers in here. Is that a reason for you to divorce the woman? It's a simple question. The woman makes double that you make. You already married her. The woman makes double that you make. You find out you didn't know how much she made. You find out she make double than what you make. Is that a reason for you to divorce her?
No, it depends.
Initially. Well, it depends. Well, they say I ain't say you couldn't say it depends. Huh?
What you say? She make 100, I make 40. We make 140.
We make 140.
I mean, I know, like in realistic situations. I mean, we like, especially in America, when it's like a high station rate over here. I've seen situations where women made, say a woman, she got a master's degree in nursing, she making almost 100,000. Brother probably make 55,000. He's paying the majority of the bills. But then after a few years, she gets tired of the slam. Mm-hmm. She gets tired of the slam. Sisters whispered in there, you ain't got to listen to that thing. I mean, you only make such and such. This is reality. So what happens is that now this dude is in a hole because he paid all the bills. She walks away, 300,000 in the tub. Mm. She married. I'm telling you, a realistic situation. She marries a girl. So now she's married to a girl. She apostate. She got 300,000, and dude kids is being raised under this banner.
But shouldn't you just say, get married to someone who's in your pay grade and not try to deal with someone who makes more than you if you have that insecurity?
Oh man, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do that at the end, y'all. Let's just do all the questions and answers at the end. Y'all about to go somewhere. Tell you. We did speak about that though. A lot of these issues, y'all, we need to do them separately. We do, because if we don't do, Let's go through everything and then. طيب. These are the 8 times when the dowry has to be paid in full. He says, "Well, يقرر المسمى كله." Whatever they agreed on, we're using the 5,000, has to be paid in totality. If the first one of them dies, طيب. The man dies, his wife is owed that. He didn't give it to her yet. She's owed the whole thing. Clear? She's owed the whole thing. Number 2, qatlun. If one kills the other, one spouse kills the other spouse, the whole 5 is still owed. طيب. Number 3, the whole 5,000 is owed. وَطْءٌ فِي فَرْجٍ وَلَوْ دُبْرَةٍ. Once the man has intercourse with the woman, even if, doesn't mean it's permissible, even though Islamically it's haram, anal sex Islamically is haram, but even if he had anal sex with her, the whole dowry is owed to her. That's 3. Intercourse, even if it's anal sex, even though the point is not to say that anal sex is halal, it's haram. Even if the man did that, the whole dowry is still owed. طيب. Number 4 has conditions. Pay attention to the conditions. It says, وَخَلْوَةٍ. Even if he is, khalwa is to be alone with the woman. Somebody double part. That ain't us. Even if he's alone with the woman. Now, how you know if he is alone with her? What are the conditions they say? They say, number 1, he's by himself, an mumayyiz, meaning there's no mumayyiz with them in the room. What's a mumayyiz? Nah, that's a wali. Mumayyiz. Mumayyiz is a child of what age?
14?
Nah, that's bulugh, baligh. Nah, puberty is baligh. The child that reaches the age of what? 7, as they say. They say the age of 7, the age of discernment when they can disturb, right? Assuming, pay attention to this, y'all. So they're saying that if the child is under the age of 7, it's like nobody else is there with them. Over the age of 7, they're not considered to be alone. Clear? That's the first condition. When is this? They say you got to give her the whole 5,000 if you're alone with her. I say, well, was you alone with her? No, it was me and her son. Well, how old is her son? Her son is 9. 9 is mumayyiz, so they weren't alone. I said, well, how old is your son? Well, it's an infant. It's not mumayyiz. That means they were alone. They considered to be alone. How old is your son? Well, he's 4. He's not mumayyiz. Clear?
So mumayyiz is
That-
5,000.
Nah, mumayyiz is the age of 7 and up. They become mumayyiz at the age of 7 and up. Right?
But so before mumayyiz,
It's as if nobody's there.
then you owe 5,000.
No, we ain't finished yet. This is the first thing. They were alone. How you know they was alone? It was nobody there. Well, it was one person in the room. Who was in the room? Her son. Well, how old is he? See how the questioning go? It's detail. This is a snap. This is Dean. It's detail. We come out, man. No, you can't do that. Well, ho. Who was in the room? Her son was in the room. How old is her son? Her son is 12. Her son is 8. All right? That means somebody was there. That means they weren't alone. Well, how old is the son? Her son like 2. He just started walking. Are they alone? Clear? That's the first one. Everybody with me? How we know if you're alone or not? It says khalwa an mumayyiz. They were by themselves. It was nobody mumayyiz. I mean, if another person was there, let's just say it was a 4-year-old there. Let's just use the number 4. طيب. He says mimma yata mithluhu. It says the man that was in the room with the woman has to be of an age that he's even at the age of having sex. Pay attention again. The man that's in the room with the woman, he is at the age that he's having sex. The boy, the man who is the husband. The man who is the husband. We're not talking about the 4-year-old. We talking about
14.
pay attention. We talking about a man, and we spoke about this before, that's why I'm mentioning it. A man has a son that's intellectually disabled. He marries his son off early. He marries his son off to another friend of his. They have a intellectually disabled daughter, right? His son is 8 years old when he marries him off, right? Everybody with me? Can we do this Islamically? Huh? The wali can marry off, right? The person, right? Without their permission. Tell you, our 8-year-olds don't get into a whole joint, y'all. Just do 8-year-olds now. So y'all don't do it. I'm not trying to do all that. Typically, 8-year-olds are not having sex. All right. So what if you say, well, he was by himself? He was in there. Okay, it was a 4-year-old in the room. So he still owed her $5,000. Well, how old is he? He's 8. No, he doesn't owe her that $5,000. Because he typically 8-year-olds are not having sex. He has to be of age. That age, they're typically having sex at that point. Clear? Everybody with me? طيب. So they say khalwa. How you know they're alone with him? Number one, it was somebody in the room, right? That was less than 7 years old. So he was 6, 5, 4, right? They're not mumayyas. Number two, the man himself that was in there with her, not the 4-year-old, the husband himself, he has to be of age that he's actually sexually active, like a norm. That's a norm, right? It says, on top of that, if the man is in the room with her, ma ilmihi, he knows that that's his wife. What benefit of it? He's in the room with the woman, he don't even know if it's his wife, and then you want to say they was alone together. He knows that's his wife. Tayyib. And they say the next one is that what? In lam tamnahu. And she did not stop him from trying to have sex with her. All of those are conditions that they put to say what? How do you know that they are alone? Clear? The first condition to be alone, they say khalwa. They say why? Because what's the point? If he's alone with her, then he owes her the whole 5,000. Right? We say, well, was you alone with her? Was he alone with her? He says yes. Say, well, where was it? Right? You got to get details from people, because that's another thing. When people come and tell you a story, you got to get the other side. Just because a person come in front of you and they upset and they screaming and they cursing and they crying, it don't mean they telling the whole truth. They might be telling 90% of it or 95, but that don't mean that's 100% true because somebody mad and they talking to you. Tell you got to ask them a question. Well, who was in the room? It was just y'all two? No, her son was there. Her son was there. You said y'all were by yourself. You said you was by yourself. Now you're telling me her son was there. This happens all the time. Y'all was by yourself? Yeah, we was by ourselves. So nobody else was there? I mean, her son was there. Well, how old is her son? He like 9. Well, like 9, Islamically, is above mumayyas, which is a different situation. You understand? But yeah. Or in the next one, he had to be of age that he's a person that is having sex, sexually active. Right? On top of that, he was in the room with her and he knew that was his wife. Tayyib. And lastly, that he was in a room with her, if all that was there and she didn't prevent him. What if she was trying to stop him? It says, La tamna'hu. She was trying to stop him from having sex with her. Clear? Tayyib. The next one, all of that was being alone with. The next one, when he owes the dowry, he says, Talaqun fi marad mot ahadihima. She's about to die or he's about to die. They on their deathbed. This is when the man owes the whole dowry, 5,000. One of them is on their deathbed. Not they both on their deathbed at the same time. Or it could be. It don't make a difference. They're on their deathbed and the man divorces her. They're on their deathbed. And while they're on their deathbed, he divorces her. He still owes the 5,000. Does anybody know why?
Because he never paid it beforehand.
It's a debt no matter what, though. That don't go away.
Hold on. Did he pay it?
I'm sorry, pay attention. He owes her the whole 5. Why? What you said is already right. What y'all saying is right. There's another reason. There's another reason. He already owed it. It's due at death, all of that, right? They're not dead yet, though. They're on a deathbed. So they're not dead. Because remember, at death is due. They're not dead yet, but he's about to die or she's about to die. And right before he divorces her. Huh?
So it was a living death.
Yeah, he said he still owed it to her, regardless when he was alive and it wasn't question anyway.
So the death removed it
He divorced his wife.
Before they died, so he's saying why.
في مرض الموت.
He divorced his wife and mother from him.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, that's not the issue.
That's not the issue.
Nah. These are the times when the 5,000, the whole dowry is owed. Right? طلاق في مرض الموت أحدهما. He divorces her while either he's on his deathbed or she's on her deathbed. He still owes the 5,000. Why?
He owed it anyway.
He still owed it.
What you mean? Maybe
It was a contract.
Maybe it's not.
everybody understood that he already owed it.
So
When does he owe it? When does he owe it?
A divorce or death?
He owed
Is he
it
dead?
the first time.
no, he's not.
They delayed it.
But it's still owed.
No doubt it's owed, but he's not dead.
You said he has to
But
So you're
he's
saying
divorced.
Fogler? Is that what you mean?
So he dies, he still owes them.
If he dies, he owed it. We already got that part. He's on his deathbed. He thinks he's about to die, or he thinks she's about to die. He still owe her what? 5,000. I'll give her the whole 5,000, right? They've been married for 20 years. It don't make a difference. 10 years, 5 years, right? I'll give you a hint. It's connected to what? Yeah. What's the question?
After he dies, he
Yeah,
becomes part of Teddy.
I was about to
He's not dead. He's on his deathbed, fella. He on his deathbed, and what? He divorces his wife while he's about to die, or she's about to die. He know he got a debt, right? He divorces her. Do we still owe her the whole 5? Yeah.
That comes from his inheritance. No.
I know
Why? This is my question. Why do they say he still owes it?
because the genetics has to be paid for if one of them died, right? So he's thinking ahead like, all right, one of us might go. I want to make sure that's covered.
doesn't remove it, Jay.
Because he's trying to get over.
He's trying to get over?
No.
No, if he was trying to get over, he wouldn't marry
They say that what? They say that what? It's feared that he only divorced her to prevent her from inheriting from him.
Not the dowry. That's different.
No, the dowry is still owed in that case.
Oh.
He got some other bread somewhere else. I got
He's trying to prevent her from inheriting from her. Possibly. They're not saying that's what he's doing. But if he was to divorce her at that kid, at that point, say she still owed the dowry, right? The talaq, that's something, right? I'm sorry.
So say if he owed her the dowry, she dies, he dies. Who gets
her kids, bro.
that?
Yeah, it's a debt. He still owes. It's still taken from his tedika and it's given to whoever is going to inherit it from her. Inherit it from her.
This issue was dealing with the inheritance. He didn't want you to get the inheritance.
They say that's one of the reasons why she's still going to get that. The talaq is something different if it counts or not. That's connected to inheritance. Because when people die, your wife inherits from you. You inherit from your wife, right? There are other people that inherit. They get what you leave behind. Some people, they might try to divorce the person to get them out the way so they can't inherit. Because the inheritance is going to fluctuate depending on who's in your family. So if it's a man and a woman, a man and his wife, they got 3 boys and a girl, it's different than a man and a woman, right? And 3 girls and a boy. So it's going to fluctuate based on who's still living after the death of the person, right? So some people, right, as they always get this example, that the son is paid. His father's old. He knows he's getting ready to inherit something heavy. So he does what? He kills his father, poisons his father so he can inherit. And this is a reason that prevents him from inheriting because he went and killed his father trying to inherit. But that's a whole nother chapter there. Tayyib. Next, walamsun, to touch her. Touching her, he touches her with shahwa, with like he touches her, not just with desire, That means she's owed the whole dowry. He touches her. He touches the woman. Yes.
Is this without or without?
What you mean?
Are they married?
Yeah, they married.
Contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
They married. These people are married. طيب. He says the last one. I'm sorry, it's two more. Or نظر إلى فرجها بشهوة فيهما. He looked at her private area. He was able to see her private area. She owes the whole dowry.
So like, I ain't trying to. So picture exchanging and stuff like that. That counts. That's what I'm asking. Like,
Allahu Alam. I'm feeling you. Allahu Alam, because in the courts of Islam, Allahu Alam. Allahu Alam. طيب. Or the last one, he kisses her. She gets the whole dowry. If we paying attention, y'all, Islam always keeps the woman good. Always. Woman is always in a good situation. Problem is we don't be knowing. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. But Islam keeps the woman in a good situation all the time. طيب, that's when the dowry is owed completely. When is it half owed? There's one time when a dowry is only owed half. ينصفه كل فرقة من قبله قبل الدخول. And this is the one that we were speaking about last week that I misunderstood. That the dowry is owed half when every separation that comes from the man before intercourse. Before they consummated the marriage, every separation that comes from the man, he divorces her, he gets a fesq, he gets an annulment of the contract, he owes her half. I'm sorry, hold on, the brother asked the question. 1 minute. If pay attention, all those beforehand, he owes the whole 5. In this case, he owes 2,500. What's the case? If he did one of those other ones, he owed a 5. Yeah. If he did one of the other ones, he owed a 5. Now, what happens? He splits from her. He didn't do none of them 5. Because if he did one of those, 8. If he did one of those, he owes the whole 5. Now, what he do? He divorces her before he consummated the marriage. He still owes her what? 25. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah.
Sister had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, sis.
2 questions. What was the 6th one? Touching her, you said with or without desire, or
with desire. Okay. The last one is the last one. So we just spoke about when the whole dowry is owed, right? Then when half of it is owed, and then when does the dowry drop off? This is the third one, when it drops off, right? It just drops. He doesn't owe it. I'm sorry, drop off. He doesn't owe it. Oh, she had another question? My bad. I'm sorry, sister. You had a second question? I didn't hear you.
It kind of ties in with the touching part. During like quote unquote a sit down, is that why it's not permissible to touch when you're having this sit down and it's confirmed that you want to marry?
No, it's not permissible to touch you on a sit down because you're not married.
Okay.
You're not married, so you shouldn't be touching any man you're not married to.
Right.
Outside of, your father, your brothers and stuff like that. The potential husband should not be touching the potential wife at a sit down. طيب. The last one was, when does the dowry drop off? It says, من قبلها قبله تسقطه. If she seeks separation in the marriage, right, before they consummate. They get married, before they consummate, she wants a khula. Something happened, whatever the situation, she found out she wants a khula. Right? In that case, how much is she owed from the dowry? Nothing. It drops off. Right. So, clear? And that's the one we went over last week when I made the mistake. We was in here all that time. All that time you could be wrong, Akhi. Even though I was confident. But it was wrong. So it becomes half. The man owes half when what? When he does what? he causes a separation in the marriage before they consummate it. That's when he still owes half. If he does one of those 8, then he owes the whole thing. And it drops off totally if what? She wants separation and they didn't consummate. Clear? And that's the end of the chapter. And we'll stop there, inshallah. Father, you had a question? So, yeah. Maybe we should put all them questions down on paper, y'all, and do a whole class just so we can deal with them individually. Because I don't want to have to not finish the text. You know what I'm saying? We want to finish the metin, the text. So maybe we could start doing that for the ones that's a little, because them issues, they are important. And there's a lot of them. But if there's no other questions, we'll stop there.
I gotta ask you this question.
Fadlan.
Inshallah. Let me ask
you. Yeah, fadlan.
All right. So what I'm saying is,
you know, I might know the answer, I might not.
I understand that.
Oh, all right.
No, because we was talking about like the whole sister basic reference that just marry a man, marry a woman on your level, basically, right? But what I'm saying is that in the marriages, sometimes they supposedly they well for their reason, that's fine, right? So it seemed like sister was kind of suggesting like that, you know, that it don't matter, like it's not really something that how we talking about, like not this is not something that's really our concern with. Like you shouldn't be like almost like you shouldn't be concerned
about how much money she has.
What even what her level is or whatever. Like it just don't matter.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So at a story he was telling, like they basically just like it don't matter.
What don't matter?
About it. Like you shouldn't even be asking
the whole financial thing.
Like you shouldn't even be asking that question. Like
he shouldn't be asking about her money.
He shouldn't even be concerned about not even
money.
Okay.
Us being married. Should it be about money? You got more money, I got less money. Is that what the marriage should be built on?
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that is that you shouldn't. Not even say that you can't be concerned, but you shouldn't be even. Like that's not even an issue. Basically, like her money is not even a
to the man.
Of yours.
Oh, to the man. Is that you saying to the man how much money she has shouldn't even be an issue?
Is it or not?
Realistically, it is an issue. I mean, in real life, it's an issue. Because people concerned about money. People concerned about money. Now, I'm a couple ways that can go a couple ways. It might not turn out good for you. If that's your main concern, then it might not turn out good for you. And I'm not saying you're not owed something. I'm just saying if that's your main concern, it might not turn out good. You know what I'm saying? It might turn out in multiple separations and divorces and khulas and stuff like that. Money's important. We can't act like money ain't important. The woman has rights. The man has rights. Everybody want theirs. Period. Everybody want theirs. She can really love you and all that, but if she get mad at you, then, you know, what you haven't been given her, she want that now. Right? Money's important. We can't act like money is not important. Money counts. I'm thinking you saying to the man, it doesn't matter what she make because he's responsible anyway.
No. We all know you're responsible. And the question. And I understand some sisters is basically saying like they need to be saving their money in case they need to get out of a relationship. They don't want to depend on the man. But I get that part. We all understand that part.
I don't understand that part. She's saving her money for what? I know I'm listening. I want to make sure I understand.
This is what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is like, okay, I'll put it like this. If you say, hey, what you do for a living, or like how much you make, you say that ain't even your business. Like why we even talking about that? Like that ain't your concern. This is no matter what. This will be going on. About
listen. I ain't getting all. Listen, what I'm saying. Because everybody, listen. If a man chooses to deal with a woman that talk to him like that, that's on him. If that's what he chooses to do, then he could do that. It's no, you know what I'm saying? If that's what he want to do, if he says that to a woman he potentially get ready to marry, and she gives him, if he feels that from her, if he feels that, and he chooses to marry, that's on him. Somebody gonna marry. Some people are gonna deal with that. It's a certain type of man that's gonna deal with that, and it's a certain type of man that's not gonna deal with that.
Jumping over the point, though.
What's the point?
The point is like I'm trying to say is that like I was telling you about the Mahar situation. the perception is if you ask a woman what she does, she's gonna say this dude trying to get over on me, or he don't got no money or whatever.
Okay.
Like, are we supposed to be even concerned with what she's doing?
Yeah, I would be concerned if I'm gonna marry a sister and she got money. I want to know what you're doing to make money. What's the problem? Like that's she. If you had a bunch of money, she would want to know what you do to make money. I'm not saying she doing nothing illegal. I don't know what you're doing. I just don't know. It's a real question.
The answer would be she concerned with you doing because you're responsible for her now.
No, yes, you're responsible for her, and I'm responsible for you. I'm responsible to protect you also.
I want you to say it out loud.
Well, you should have just said it. I would have said it over. You took me through the jump. Yeah. Sister got a question.
Nah. So that kind of plays into my question. If you're like potentially looking to get married, what questions can you ask that wouldn't cause oneself to expose themselves if exposing yourself is a sin?
What you mean exposing yourself?
Like, all right, I sell drugs.
Not you, but for example.
Not me.
Yeah, for example. I'm just saying it's better to say for example. No, because people crazy. For example, a person sells drugs, yes.
For example, I do illegal activities.
Right.
And the question comes up, like, what do you do for a living? How do you, I don't want to expose that I do that, but he doesn't want to marry a drug dealer.
Let's look at the option now. What's the option? The option is you selling drugs, right? You don't tell a person that's a Muslim trying to do the right thing, that's going to marry you and take you as his wife and protect her and all the stuff he's supposed to do. And in reality, you putting them in harm's way. Guns and drugs and killing, they all go together. Murder, jail, all that stuff come with drugs. You put a Muslim in a situation because you out of pocket, not you specifically, you out of line. So you put another Muslim in harm's way because you're trying to save your reputation.
And also not expose yourself.
So is that being
And you trying to cover yourself. It's a way to say it without saying what you're doing. You don't have to say, well, I'm a drug dealer. You could say I'm doing stuff I ain't really supposed to be doing right now, but I'm working on getting another job. But you don't put nobody in harm's way, and somebody, drugs. It's a drug game, right? We all know what comes with the drug game. You don't put another Muslim that's trying to fear Allah and get married in harm's way by not speaking up and being honest about what you're doing. Don't mean you have to say exactly what you're doing, but you need to let people know what's going on. That's yes.
And kind of like bouncing off of that, because I understand the whole point of like not exposing your sin, but at what point is not exposing a sin taking it too far? Because like you just said, you not exposing your sin is now putting somebody potentially their life in danger.
That's too far.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
You're already putting your own life in danger. You selling drugs, you already put your own life in danger, and whoever's close to you at that point, right? It's too far. Now you're affecting other people, Muslims. You're affecting other people who trying to do what they're supposed to do. They trying to be upright and right. That's too far. It's too far because you already transgressed and oppressed yourself by going against Allah's religion. Tell you, now you done spreaded your oppression and your wrong onto somebody else, which is a bigger problem. Because oppression on another person means when you do another person wrong, that means that you wronged them and they're going to want that back Yom Kiyama. And we don't want nobody holding us up because we oppressed them and they want their hak back, right? So that's too far. We all oppress ourselves at some point, but you don't want to start oppressing other people because now you're going to need them to forgive you. So that's definitely too far. Yeah.
If the dowry was given on her own money, and she finds out is she owed another dowry on top of that?
If the dowry is given with haram money,
she finds out that he sold her, robbed somebody to give her the dowry, is she allowed to ask, look, this was a haram money? I want to know. I need another.
Let me ask somebody real quick.
Oh yeah, there you go.
What you think, Sheikh? What you think?
I got an answer for you now.
What you answer?
For you?
Yeah.
Not in front of them.
Oh, all right, tell you. Allah.
Religiously,
Does the wife need permission from the husband to spend her own money?
Does the wife need permission from her husband to spend her own money? What you got for that, shit?
Come on,
I need you. Akhi. Allahu Alam. Allahu Alam. What you think? No, I ain't talking about America. He said religiously.
That's not a cookie cutter answer.
Gee, that's not a one situation answer. That could differ from situation to situation. Depends. And you the last question. Fella.
He could advise her how to spend her money, but he can't. Because her money is her money, correct?
Depends on what she's
But he
buying.
can advise her to do something like to not be wasteful and extravagant.
Adina Nasiha. Adina Nasiha. You can definitely advise her, but that wasn't the question.
No, what if she's buying stuff that's haram and it's in your house?
That's different. What you think about that? Yeah. Is she buying stuff haram and bringing it in the house? That's different. And that's, huh?
So he could tell her not to buy things that's haram.
Of course, yeah. And I'm assuming you're not talking about her buying stuff haram though. She just buying clothes, she buying stuff. She look, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is most of these guys are saying is they live with their wives anyway. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's another. We're gonna stop there, inshallah. Next week we doing the walima, inshallah. We're gonna do the walima. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.